Got a new concoction of drink. I got some chai tea bags, so I made a chai tea and I added some sweetener and some ice and some milk, and I'm interested to see if it actually tastes semi like a chai latte. Slightly weird aftertaste, not fantastic. I did a video on this ages ago, but I know that since then I've had a lot of newer followers. So I just wanted to talk about my own experience with getting injected. I lost 45 kilos nearly 5 years ago now. I obviously lost a lot of volume in my face. That is one of the pitfalls of weight loss. You lose volume everywhere, and obviously that is quite obvious in your face. My only concern really was this area of my face, my nasolabial folds, because obviously my cheeks had been quite a lot fuller and then they had dropped due to the weight loss. At the time I was contracting to a cosmetic clinic. I had a cosmetic doctor who is renowned in Australia, and so I went to him and I just said, like, look, I just want to fix this. Is there anything that we can do about it? And he was like, yes. And he was very much like, okay, your face is now my face. Didn't ask me any routine questions for my medical history, really find anything out about whether I was actually even eligible to have filler. Basically what happened was he injected my face. So he did my cheeks, my temples, and my chin. Now that's totally fine if he thought that I needed like structural work done, but that wasn't a conversation we had prior. I'll preface this with saying that there is zero filler in my face now. That was a good 3 years ago that I had that done. It has completely dissolved. There's nothing left. This is what I'm left with. As he started injecting, I just saw him opening like syringe after syringe, and I'm thinking to myself, goodness, like that is a lot of filler. Like, where is he putting that? I believe someone hasn't had filler before, or if they're going to get over a certain amount of mils, there's preparation that needs to be made. We need to put you on antibiotics so that your body doesn't attack the filler. He put 9 mils in my face. Now, what I will say is that I had a lot of volume loss. Realistically, even with those 9 mils, so many people couldn't even tell that I had filler in my face. It would sort of be like, there's something a little bit different, but I can't really tell what it is. I didn't look like this crazy person walking around with all this filler in my face, but there were certain things about the technique that was used and the amount that was put in made it look how it shouldn't. So for example, he put so much in my cheeks that I had a shelf. It was so much that I went from looking like myself one second to not looking like myself the next. And I really, really, really didn't like that. And that has definitely influenced my practice and how I inject my clients, because I'm so hyper aware of not wanting to do that to them, building it up slowly, potentially not having to use as much because we're not putting it all in at once. So your body has time to soften it, draw moisture to the area, and we can see how much we actually need over time. The other thing that he did was he put wrinkle reduction in my chin, and he didn't tell me. And obviously wrinkle reduction takes 2 to 14 days to start taking effect. I'd never had it done before. He didn't like that my face was able to do this. 2 or 3 days later, I was recording a video for social media and I honestly thought that I was having a stroke. I couldn't talk properly. I kept biting the inside of my cheek. I couldn't form certain words. I couldn't smile properly. I couldn't spit out my toothpaste. The problem is with wrinkle reduction is that it can't be reversed. You have to wait for it to wear off. And yes, it's only 3 to 4 months, but the issue is that the way it had been injected, he had injected into the wrong muscle and paralyzed a part of my face that was not supposed to be paralyzed. So I'm gonna show you a before and after picture together of what I look like normally with no filler in my face. So the right-hand side is once I'd had the filler put in and I couldn't smile properly. So as you can see here, left-hand side looks like me, right-hand side had the filler done. The issue with the way the filler was injected, the temples were fine, the chin was fine. I didn't like my chin that pointy, but that's just personal preference. Through the cheek area, so much had been injected that I then had a shelf under my eyes, which lasted a very, very long time. So while it may have lifted this area, which to be honest, I don't actually think that it lifted it enough to actually address what I was trying to with the filler, underneath my eyes, it just accentuated that area because it looked like there was more hollowing there than there actually was, because now I had the shelf pushing up, which means that my tear troughs had been pushed back. I definitely had to train myself to smile. My smile basically turned into a square. This is my natural style. You can see my teeth going back. So here's a picture of me just smiling naturally. This was way before I got filler done. And then in this photo, you can actually see I've had to retrain myself how to smile, and one side of my mouth is not opening as much as the other. I remember my sister saying to me, because she couldn't tell that I'd had any volumizer put in, "What's going on? You look like you're trapped in your own face." And that was such a good explanation for how I was actually feeling. I felt like, yes, I was trapped in my own face. I did not enjoy it at all. And the reason that I think it's important to make this video is because I think a lot of people are scared to come to injectors because they think that they're going to look overfilled. Even with 9 mils in my face, like that's 9 mils, that is so much product. I still didn't look overfilled. I think it's really important because so many people don't think that injectors necessarily know how it feels to go in looking one way and then leaving looking a completely different way, and you're like, that is not what I wanted at all. He also didn't quote me prior to doing this entire service, so we got to the end and I got slapped with a $5,000 bill. As an injector, there are areas of my face that injectors tell me all the time that I need to have filled. And personal preference, I don't want to, so I'm not going to. It's the exact same for any client who walks through any clinic door. I would never ever get upset with a client for wanting to think about it or saying no to a treatment. It always gives me massive anxiety showing these photos because I look a little bit crazy. And unlike the brow reveal video that I did a few weeks ago, I did not choose to have my face looking like this.